Hello guys. Today we are going to talk about the shifting, the shifting, the shifting of graph. Remember, we're still on what? On parabola function. Meaning what? We are going to talk about the shifting of graph for parabola function. Right. So remember from the turning point, whenever we're given an equation like this, which is y is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, right? So when we're going to talk about the shifting of the graph, if you're given an equation in this format, please complete the square. Complete the square so that your general equation is in this format. Can be in this format. So things can be easier for you. So meaning if you're given an equation in this format of completing the square, then you're sorted. There's no need for you to complete the square. But then if you are given in this format or the third one, please complete the square first before you can answer this question. So now, from the shifting of the graph, the only things that we're going to focus on is P and Q. Remember, P and Q are the coordinates of what? Of the turning point, right? So don't forget it. So what does P affect our graph? How does P affect our graph? The effect, remember, P it represents the horizontal. P represents the horizontal shift. That's the first thing that you need to know. And then if P increases, then the graph shift, remember, horizontal. The graph shift horizontal to what? To the right, because it increasing, right? To the right. Okay, sorry for the spelling. To the right. And lastly is that therefore if P decreases, the graph shift horizontally to what? To the left. Okay, sorry about the spinning to the left. Okay, sorry about the spinning. Let me fix it faster. To the left, right? Okay, so let's continue, guys. Let's continue. Sorry about that. To the left. So meaning, whenever we see the P the effect of P, it's either P shift, P either shift left or right. And now we are done with the effect of P. So we now know that whenever we talk about P, which is the x-coordinate of our turning point, is the horizontal shift. If P increases, the graph shifts horizontally to the right, and if P decreases, the graph shifts horizontally to the left. So meaning P either shift left or right. So now let's talk about Q. We know that Q is what? Q is the y coordinate of the turning point, right? So what is Q? Q, therefore, the effect of changing Q, it changes what vertically. Vertical, it's represented by what? By the vertical shift, right? So meaning if P, okay, I mean if Q, meaning if Q increases, if Q increases, the graph shift vertically, the graph shift vertically, okay, the graph shift vertically up, the graph shift vertically up, and if our Q decreases, and if our Q decreases, the graph shift vertically, the graph shift vertically, what? Vertically down. So meaning Q is represented by what? Meaning Q is represented by it's either shift up or down, right? So now we are done about defining what is P and also what is Q. So what about my handwriting? I will create it later. So now guys, let's recap. So now we set the shifting of the graph, right? So the first thing, if you're given y is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, the first thing you're going to complete the square so that you can have that format of completing the square, right? Meaning you're going to write your equation in the format of completing the square. That's what we need so that we can see P and Q. We are going to do some examples so that you can understand why it's very important to write your equation in the form of completing the square. So meaning now we're going to talk about P and Q. For P, we said P is the horizontal shift, right? Meaning it's either shift left or right. And if P increases, the graph will shift horizontally to the right. And if our P decreases, the graph shift horizontally to the left, right? And then what about Q? Q represents the vertical shift, right? Which is the y coordinate of the turning point. And remember, P is the x coordinate of the turning point. So if P increases, the graph shifts vertically up. And if Q decreases, the graph shifts vertically down. So meaning whenever we talk about the y coordinate of the turning point, which is Q, it's either shift up or down. So now let's do examples about the shifting of the graph. Okay guys, now let's do the examples. Shifting of the graph. The first question, let's firstly describe the transformation. Describe the transformation of the given equation. Which is y is equals to x minus 3 squared minus 4. Right. Therefore, let's write the solution here. Okay guys. So the question says describe the transformation of the given equation. The given equation is y is equals to x minus 3 squared minus 4. Meaning now, because already the equation is in the format of completing the square, there is no need to complete the square. That means they make your job to be easy. So now, remember guys, from grade 10, the mother graph of parabola of the general equation is y is equals to ax squared. Right? This is the mother graph of the general equation of parabola. So meaning now if we add something, if we now say okay, ax squared plus bx, we have now added something, right? Meaning the graph has shifted. And also if we add y is equals to, let's say, ax squared plus bx plus c, meaning now the graph has shifted, because if the graph it didn't shift, the equation of it has to be y is equals to ax squared only, no other values, right? So now from our equation, our given equation, we can see that this equation, the graph has shifted, right? So how do we describe it? Remember that we are given y is equals to x minus 3 squared minus 4, right? We know that this 3, it represents what? P. And then this negative 4 to represent what? Q, right? So how do you describe the transformation? For x, you're going to say x minus 3 is equals to 0. You take everything which is under the bracket and then solve for x. Then we found that our x is equals to 3. Meaning our graph has shifted. Our graph has shifted 3 units. 3 units to the what? Because of its positive, that means it has shifted 3 units to the right. Right. Remember, whenever we're talking about the decreasing and also increasing, whenever it's positive, we mean the increasing, and whenever it's negative, we mean the decreasing. So don't confuse the two; they are the same things, right? So now we saw that x is equals to 3. Therefore, because our graph it's increasing, our p is increasing, therefore it has shifted 3 units to the right. What about q? We can see that q is what? It's negative 4, right? Our q is negative 4. And if our q is negative 4, we know that whenever we talk about the negative, and remember from q, we talk about it's either the graph shift up or down is the vertical shift. It's either shift going up or it's shift going down. So, but then because it's negative, it means it's going down. If it was positive, it was going up. Therefore, it means q is equals to minus 4. Therefore, the graph also shifted 4 units downwards. 4 units downwards. Then you are done about describing the transformation of the given equation, right? So this is how you describe the transformation of the given equation. Sometimes the question will come and it will be like you'll be given this equation, which is y is equals to x minus 3 squared minus 4, and they tell you that this graph now it has shifted 2 units upwards. Okay, let's do it so that you can understand it. Now, but then I would like to erase here first so that you can understand it. Okay guys, here's the question. Given that y is equals to x minus 3 whole squared minus 4, then the question says now write down the new equation when the graph shifted 2 units down and 1 unit to the right. So we are having y is equals to x minus 3 squared minus 4, right? And we know that this, which is negative 3, it's represented by what? By p. Then this is represented by what? By q. And then for p, we know that it's represented by what? The horizontal shift. It's either shift right to the left. So firstly, we are going to calculate, we're going to find, like this graph, it has shifted how many units to the left or right? Meaning, we're going to say x minus 3 is equals to 0. Therefore, x is equals to 3. Therefore, we know that because it's positive and then we're on p, means this graph has shifted 3 units to the right. Né? So therefore, after you're going to take this 3, and wherever you hear the question says right or left, then we're going to add it or subtract it here. So now the question says, now write down the new equation when the graph shifted 2 units downwards. No, they're not talking about x or p, because remember, for p or x, it's either shift left or right. So we continue. And 1 unit to the right. Okay, that's what we need. To the right. 1 unit to the right, meaning 1 unit positive to the right, and then meaning it's positive. So therefore we're going to say x is equals to 3 plus 1. Why plus 1? Because it's going to the right, and whenever it's going to the right, it's going to the positive side. That's why we add. If it was 1 unit to the left, therefore we're going to subtract 3. We're going to say 3 and minus 1, because the question says, or the statement said 1 unit to the left, but then now it says it's a 1 unit to the right, meaning we need to add. Therefore we found that our answer is 4, right? X value is 4. So now we come to q. We know that q is represented by what? By the vertical shift. It's either shift up or down. We write that value the way it is, which is negative 4, and then we're going to read our statement. Now write down the new equation when the graph shifted 2 units downwards. Okay, it's a vertical shift, but then it has shifted 2 units downwards. Remember, whenever we're going up, we're going to the positive x values or the y values, and whenever we're going down, we're going to the negative values, right? So meaning we need to subtract what? Negative 2. Therefore our q is now negative 6. Then we're going to write our new equation, which is x. Remember, because our x now is first no longer 3. And remember, now we wrote 3. We said our x is 3. And here it was negative, meaning also this one, when it goes and whenever you write it under the brackets, it has to change the sign. So meaning now it's going to be negative 4 squared. Q, you take it the way it is with its sign, which is negative 6. Then you are done by writing the new equation. That's how we do the shifting of the graph. That's how we describe them. That's how we write the new equation whenever we are told that this graph has shifted 2 units downwards or 2 units to the left. If you have any question, you can comment below. I'll go through your questions and then I will answer you. Thank you for today.